Wow, what a game. I honestly didn't think about making a review on this because, come on, this is Rockstar. Their games are one of the best selling and highly praised on the market. Even if you are a snob and find them distasteful or don't like their commerce practices, you can't deny that Rockstar puts a lot of resources and care into their games. So making a video and praising a Rockstar game is like saying, wow, Tarantino makes some pretty good films. Or, hey, Rembrandt made some lit paintings. Like, thanks man, we wouldn't notice without you saying it. It would make sense, however, to make a video stating that they are overrated or not that good, because the popular opinion is that they are. That's why I often prefer reviewing some old, unknown, or at least a little bit less mainstream games. But of course, since this video exists, you can tell that Red Dead Redemption 2 is an exception for me this time. And I was bullshitting you. Oddly enough, while this is a game review and I probably should talk in depth about the gameplay, I instead want to focus attention on other aspects of the game. But still, I will talk about at least a few things here. Let's start with the obvious. The action is just phenomenal. The fights feel amazing, guns sound and look great, enemies are engaging you trying to dodge your bullets, and when they or you manage to do it, the environment gets destroyed. I mean, do you really want me to continue on this when you can just look at the screen? But don't think that the majority of the game is all gunplay and explosions. There are also a lot of meditation-like gameplay. Riding with your horse and exploring, and then deciding to go hunting and fishing, only to later to return to your camp and craft new gear and interact with your companions. On the next day, go to the city and buy yourself a new pistol and customize it to your liking. And finally, go to saloon, get drunk and then roll in shit. And while you are doing all this, you probably encounter several side quests, stranger missions, or at the very least, interesting dialogue. So if you don't feel like playing the game for more than an hour and want to suck the most from one sitting, you probably should look elsewhere. The game demands your engagement and full immersion into the story, atmosphere and setting, and in return rewards you with satisfying and unforgettable experience. In a way, you can say that the game is as good as you let it be. You might have noticed by the title of the video that I claim that this game has a soul. There is a popular opinion that games made by huge companies with big ass budgets are spawned with no love or passion and solely with the goal of making money. And while it is true that nearly every game is made for profit, many people believe that smaller or less known developers are putting more love into their production. So while this topic deserves a separate video I am most likely working on right now, I will nevertheless describe why I think this game, despite being a AAA title, has a so-called soul. What I believe is one of the game's greatest achievements is how it manages to create personal connection and bonding with its characters. When a video game or movie shows you a character for 2 minutes and then suddenly strikes you with their overly dramatic and tragic death, expecting you to shed waterfalls of tears and boil in anger towards their killer, you can't help but to say to yourself, really man? Really? In this game, however, I genuinely had built feelings for all my gang members. Every single one of them is memorable, mainly because they have their own character and close relationship not only with the protagonist, but also with one another. That is how a game succeeds at making you want to bond with them. You want to talk to them and ask about their day. You want to help them on their personal troubles. You even want to sit with them near the campfire singing happy songs and drinking beer with them. And when it comes to assholes, you absolutely hate these fuckers, while at the same time appreciate how well written and interesting they are. Not a single character felt bland and colorless. They all have their own backstories and personality, and very often these distinctive personalities may clash with one another, creating interesting scenes. I mean, I could make a video essay about every single one of them, especially those whose character changes the most throughout the story, but to keep this review as short as possible, I'll just say that every minute I spent in the camp, interacting with these people and observing their daily lives, was one of the best and immersive things that I experienced in a video game. And obviously it's all enhanced with amazing voice acting. Rockstar is known for paying huge attention to the smallest of details, and this game is no exception. Despite being huge as Ocean in terms of content, Red Dead Redemption might as well be as deep as one. The game is filled with things to find and explore on every corner. When I was getting footage for the video of pure landscapes or nature, I constantly was finding new adventures or secrets. And aside from main story, almost no side mission or encounter is marked on your map, and thus you will have to find them on your own. And oh boy, there is a lot to find. I remember back when Mafia 2 came out, everyone was talking about that mission where Vito came back from war. As he was on his way home, you could see so much small scenes and life on every corner. In Red Dead Redemption, these minor scenes happen throughout the game. You could be just casually passing through a small town and there would almost always be small stories taking place. Even when it comes to aesthetics, there is some ridiculous amount of detail there. Animations alone can have a long showcase on their own, a few examples being walking on ice and your legs slipping a bit, or moving through the swamp and your feet sinking in the mud. Not counting 1,000 of other features, ranging from snow slowly collecting on your clothes to your character getting fat from eating too much. All these small things together create something truly monumental. And thus it feels so great to just ride around and explore this world, as both the visuals and music are so enjoyable. And the music just leaves me climaxing. With decades of making games, this thing now pretty much is a stamp that states that the game you're playing has a fantastic soundtrack. Music makes nearly every scene and mission memorable and just so much more enjoyable. The songs that play enhance the emotion the player is feeling, thus strengthening the immersion into the game even more. For example, the very first shootout during the prologue. I'll just let the game speak for itself.
It's goddamn Dutch Vanderlyn!
Since I have played the PC version, I must talk about the performance and the port in general. I was happy that I managed to play it without any freezes, crashes or game-breaking bugs, so I asked two of my friends about their experience. To my surprise, one of them could not even play the game properly, as he experienced all sorts of nasty stuff, from huge FPS drops to just game not launching at all. The second was a bit luckier and could play it, but he spent a lot of time fixing performance and graphical issues and had a huge list of things to complain about. So to remain objective, I must say that while I enjoyed every minute of the game and the only bugs I faced were the hilarious ones, I must warn you that your experience may differ a lot from mine. But in the end, to sum this all up, while Red Dead Redemption 2 is not perfect and definitely not for everyone, once it manages to get a hold of you, it won't let you go until the very moment end credits start to roll. Even though it's a AAA game that's as huge as ocean, in this very ocean there is a soul that people with great talent and love for their work has breathed into it.